Hi friends! Tonight is Unit 3, Lesson 5, Multiplication Strategies. We've learned about 4 different multiplication strategies at this point for multiplying two fractions. And tonight I'm going to show you another one, but we're just going to look at them and compare some of them to see which one can give us the most efficient use of our mathematical skills. So I want to start you off by looking at 2/3 times 15. The first strategy that we learned back in lesson 2 was find the unit fraction, then multiply and simplify. So what that looks like is first we find the unit fraction. So the unit fraction is 1/3 of 15. And the way we find that out is we say 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So now that we know what 1/3 is, we can multiply by 2, 5 times 2, and that will give us 2/3 of 15, which is 10. Well, another way that we can do this, 2/3 times 15, is we can just go straight to multiplying and simplifying. This is coming from the generalizations that we made later in the week last week, and it looks like 2/3 times 15 over 1 equals 2 times 15. 3 times 1 equals 30 over 3. And if we simplify that, it equals 10. So both ways we kind of start in the same direction. But the one that I'm going to show you tonight, the newest strategy, and we're going to use it with the same problem so you can see it. Okay, the newest strategy is called it's the opposite. So we're going to simplify first and then multiply. Let me show you. Don't get stressed out yet. So you have 2/3 times 15, just the same way you did as before. But now you're going to set up the problem just as you did before. 2 over 3 times 15 over 1. Same thing so far. 2 times 15, 3 times 1. Now I'm going to stop you. We can divide the numerator and denominator by 3 before we multiply, because I know that 3 right here goes into 15 5 times. 3 goes into itself once. So I know now 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 1 is 1. So this equals 10. So now you're seeing 3 different strategies here. Unit fraction, then multiply and simplify. Then we multiplied it and simplified it. And then we simplify and multiply it. So let's see this multiply and simplify without one that has a whole number. So you have 3/10 times 5/12. So the way I want you to do this first is I want us to solve doing the multiply and simplify. So really, what this is saying here is we're going to go 3 times 5 over 10 times 12. So we have 15 over 120. Whew. Now I have to figure out how many times does each one of these numbers go into each other. To simplify it, well, 15 goes into itself once and goes into 120 8 times. Now I know that because I know my multiplication facts pretty quickly. But for you, you might go, oh, wow, I have to come up with my 15s that fast. So let's try this other method. Simplify, then multiply. So if I were to do that, it'd start off the same way. 3 times 5 over 10 times 12. Now I know that 5 and 10, those go into each other. So what goes into itself once, goes into 10 two times. I also know that 3 goes into itself once, and 3 goes into 12 4 times. Now I just multiply across, and I get my answer, 1/8. So it's pretty plain to see here that multiplying 10 times 20 and then trying to simplify down from that might not always be the most efficient way. Doing it within the multiplication problem before you're done can sometimes help you out in a whole better manner. Let's try a couple more examples just so you can see it a couple more times in action. But this is the long and short of it. The strategies that we're looking at today are multiplying, then simplifying, or to simplify first and then multiply. This becomes crucial, this simplify and multiply, when you're looking at really large numbers. And I'm going to choose a couple examples that will show you that. Check these numbers out. 5 24ths times 6 25ths. Well, I know that I can rewrite this as 5 times 6 over 24 times 25. Now, I personally do not want to have to multiply 24 times 25. So I'm going to look at my numbers crossways. And I happen to know my multiplication facts pretty well. So 6 and 24 have something in common. I know that 6 can go into itself once, can go into 24 4 times. I also know that 5 and 25 have a pretty good relationship. 5 can go into itself once, goes into 25 5 times. Then we multiply just like normal. 1/20. That's a lot easier than trying to multiply 24 times 25 and then simplifying that fraction down. Let's do another one just so we can see it one more time. 7 15ths times 10 21sts. So it would be 7 times 10 over 15 times 21. Do you want to do 15 times 21? I didn't think so. So let's look at their partners here. I know that 7 can go into itself once, can go into 21 3 times, and that I know that 5 can go both into 10 and in 15. And so 10 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So if I multiply straight across, 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 3 is 9. We have a nice, simplified, ready-to-go fraction. So the new strategy that we talked about tonight is simplify and then multiply. So there's really nothing overly new. It's just trying to help us get those fractions in a simpler form in an easier way. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. Have a nice night.